Hi, welcome back to Life is a Treasure podcast. I'm your hostess, Michelle Durand, and you're listening to episode number 22. This is a bonus mini episode called Tea Time Treasures, and I create these at the new and the full moon of each month. So this month is a full pink moon happening on April 7th of 2020. I always share one of my favorite teas, and today I'm drinking Rose Lemonade by Taylor's of Harrogate in honor of this full pink supermoon and also Easter coming up. So I invite you to join me. Pause this episode, go make yourself a cup of tea or hot coffee or iced coffee, get comfy, and let's get started, shall we? Before I jump into the episode, I just want to take a minute, and I know that we hear about COVID-19, the coronavirus, every single day in an attempt to be aware of what's going on and how to better take care of ourselves and our family and our community in this worldwide pandemic that's happening right now. And I just want to take a moment and say that wherever you're listening in the world, I just hope and pray that you're safe and that you're making the best of the situation. It's not easy for anyone right now. And I don't want to just simply go into this episode and not take a moment to just acknowledge you that you're doing great and you're doing the best that you can under the circumstances. So please offer yourself some grace, some compassion, and some kindness. Don't forget to take care of yourself, because in order to take care of others around you, you first need to take care of your own self. And I also have an episode on self-care that you can look up, and I offer you some suggestions and some tips if you just want to have some refresher reminders. Great information on the self-care episode. It's entitled Self-Care is Not Selfish. And I also created an episode, a bonus episode number 20, called Peace During Pandemic. And that will also kind of give you some inspiration if you're feeling anxious. It just offers you some peace and encouragement. So reach out to me if you have trouble finding those, but if not, I highly recommend that you listen to those episodes. So to get us started today, in also remembering of what's going on right now in the world, I found this reading that I want to share with you because it really touched my heart, and I believe it will touch yours as well. And it was written by Gurpreet K. Gill, and this person is an intuitive energy healer and a breathwork practitioner. And I will also link the website so you can find this reading if you'd like to print it or read it again. But it's titled What If? And it says, there is so much fear, and perhaps rightfully so, about COVID-19, which is the coronavirus disease of 2019. And what if we subscribe to the philosophy that life is always working out for us, that there is an intelligence far greater than humans at work, that all is interconnected? What if the virus is here to help us, to reset, to remember what is truly important, reconnecting with family and community, reducing travel so that the environment, the skies, the air, our lungs all get a break? Parts of China are seeing blue sky and clouds for the first time in forever, with the factories being shut down. Working from home rather than commuting to work means less pollution and more personal time. Reconnecting with family as there is more time at home. An invitation to turn inwards for a deep meditation rather than the usual extroverted going out to self-soothe. To reconnect with self. What is really important to me? A reset economically, the working poor, the lack of healthcare access for over 30 million in the U.S., the need for paid sick leave. How hard does one need to work to be able to live, to have a life outside of work? To face our mortality, check back into living life rather than simply working. to reconnect with our elders who are so susceptible to this virus. And washing our hands, how did that become a new thing that we needed to remember? But yes, we did. The presence of grace for all. There is a shift underway in our society. What if it is one that is favorable for us? What if this virus is an ally in our evolution, in our remembrance of what it means to be connected, humane, living a simpler life, to be less impactful and more kind to our environment? An offering from my heart this morning offered as another perspective, another way of relating to this virus, this unfolding, this evolution. It was time for a change. We all knew that. And change has arrived. What if? Written by Gurpreet K. Gill. And again, I'll have the link in the show notes at lifeisatreasure.com. So with that perspective, and as we are coming into the full moon, followed by Good Friday and Easter on Sunday, I pulled a card from one of my decks called The Moonchild Tarot by Danielle Noel. And the card that showed up is the Temperance. And the message is one of harmony, adaptation, and balance. Such a timely card. I'd like to read to you the insights about this card from her accompanying guidebook. She says, the Temperance comes as a gentle reminder of the grace and divinity that exist within you. Instead of treading those deep, tumultuous waters, or conversely lightly skimming the surface of life, this key card encourages us to find a neutral approach in how we navigate or observe the world around us. If we can find a healthy balance in not attaching to conditioned extremes, we may experience a brighter, more profound understanding of our time here. It also prompts us to not take things so seriously all of the time, and to also remember to smell the roses along the way. Don't forget, you are spirit in physical form, and as you soften into this awareness, you may begin to see things through an entirely new lens. This helps support patience, calmness, and a serene appreciation of the path of your life. You are multidimensional and infinite. And wow, I just thought that this card was so appropriate for what we're going through in the world right now. And I hope that it will inspire you in some way and just give you some encouragement. Because everything we're hearing right now is just so full of fear, panic, scarcity, and all of those are feelings and they're valid, and it's a mindset. The good news is that we can shift that mindset. You know, it's very difficult right now. I'm an empath. I feel for everyone. I feel for the world. My heart is breaking for so many people that are losing their jobs. And I mean, this is affecting every single person in some way or another. We're not all affected the same, but we're definitely all affected. No one is immune to what is happening in our world right now during this pandemic. And so I just would like to come on here and use this episode, this podcast, to offer you some inspiration, information, and implementation ideas. I mean, that is my whole vision and mission for this podcast. And so I will try to always offer you some insightful stuff and to lighten the load and to hopefully bring you more love, peace, and joy into your life. My goal is to help you create a life that you do treasure. So as Easter is the first Sunday after the full moon, and the full moon represents a time of completion, harvesting, releasing. And it's a time to reflect and see where we've been, what we've learned over this past month, what things are not serving us any longer. Let them go. It's a time to purge. I've been purging my home and my closet. And I'm offering and bringing my items to people who are less fortunate to help the community in some way. That's my way of feeling like I can help during this pandemic time. So I encourage you to do something like that. Do things that make you feel more joy in your heart, because we cannot control the things that are outside of us that are happening, but we can control what we do. We can control how we feel, and we can control some things. And so during the time in the world when we may feel out of control, it's good to look inward, meditate, and see what can I control and what will bring me happiness and what will bring me joy. And for myself, and I promise you, when you help other people, it will give you joy. So I hope that that's encouraging you. I just want to share that if you are still feeling like you're struggling and you're grieving in some way, whether it's the grief of losing your job or losing a loved one, or perhaps the grief that you're carrying around from an abortion, through Tears to Treasures, I help women and men who are holding on and they're stuck in their grieving process from the abortions. But I also realize there's so many people out there who are stuck in their grieving process from miscarriage or multiple miscarriages. And so I just want to remind you that I released an episode last Thursday with a very, very special guest of mine, and her name is Tracy Swainson, and it's guest number 21, Sacred Grief with Tracy Swainson. She is sharing her personal story and healing journey from multiple miscarriages. She goes into detail about how she released herself from the guilt, shame, and the pain after her miscarriages, and why it is extremely important to complete the grieving process in order to harvest the benefits of healing. And that just goes so in line with the whole message of full moon, which is completion, harvest, and releasing. And I just encourage you to please listen to it, rate it, review, and especially share it. Share it with anyone who may be trying to heal from miscarriage. She offers inspiration and insights to encourage you, those who are struggling with unresolved grief. Most importantly, she helps women find healing from their own grief. And we hope that you will help us spread the hope, help, and healing messages to those who are suffering. So I'd like to, and her episode is number 21 again. So I highly encourage you to go and listen to that episode. It is so wonderful to just hear her story and how she's overcome a very hard time in her life. And we know that women do hold on secretly, suffering silently through abortion, through miscarriages. And we work together. We've been working together now for over 3 years, and you'll hear that story in the episode. So I just would like to thank you again so much for listening to this episode and all of the other episodes. My thoughts and my prayers are with all of you all over the world. I'm sending you so much lightness, love, peace, and joy. Happy Easter.